Oddball Show features content intended for mature audiences. If you'd like to view a content warning before listening, please check out the episode description. The views put forth by our hosts and our guest reflect the speaker's opinions and not the official stance of Oddball Foundation. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoy the show.
Okay.
So Chad isn't available yet, so I figured I have a very special guest here. If you have been listening to Oddball Show for the last... Oh, Chad's joining. Talk about jumping the gun.
So like,
yeah.
That's, if there was a time of jumping the gun where that was appropriate, that was it. Like, all right, Ed, we're going. Go.
Yeah.
Hurry up, Ed, go.
I know, and 1, 2, 3, and go. So
Mr.
It
Parento.
takes a little while for Chad to jump on the computer.
Well, I couldn't tell. His picture was lively. You know, look kind of like maybe it was him. He was just chilling.
Chad, you look like the guy in the shadows here.
I got 3 lights on. I can't do much better than this. You know,
right, man.
The only thing I can do is shove a lamp up my ass, or
I do wish Chad glowed from the inside.
Or use that goofy ass light that you sent me. So all I can see is like the bright lights.
No,
he gave you a ring light,
like RoboCop.
Exactly.
Guess who we have on the program, Chad? We have Professor
Chris, the manager of Shaggy, not the Velma version of Shaggy. I hope.
It was a what happened?
There's a reboot.
Oh right, a Velma, yeah.
Scooby Doo called Velma. Actually, he's not even called Shaggy. He's called Norbert.
I started watching that.
Wait, his name is not Shaggy in the new one.
Well, he's just called Norbert.
Because
that's actually Shaggy's
Norbert
real
supposed
name.
to be Shaggy? Right. I didn't know that.
Shaggy is Norbert is Shaggy's real name. That is canon.
Right. Yeah, right.
I love the first episode. That's all I can say.
Yeah, is it good? I haven't seen it, but I am a big Scooby-Doo fan.
It is slow to start as fuck. I watched the first 4 episodes and did a review, and I never got back to doing the rest.
So I'm going to put on my Jason Wright Oddball Show podcast fan, and not the president of Oddball Foundation. I don't find Mindy Kaling that funny. I'm sorry, I don't. My wife loves Mindy Kaling, and I think Mindy Kaling is great. I
think she had okay moments in the office, but as a stand-up regular comedian,
yeah. Now that is not the Oddball Foundation's stance on Mindy Kaling. That is Jason Wright's stance on Mindy Kaling.
I think you need to give the lengthy disclaimer that you gave last week. I think you need to take the 10 minutes and say, "Listen, I'm wearing 2 hats.
Yeah,
I had to take one hat off and put on another hat and change my shirt."
Yeah. By the way, this shirt is a Never Waver shirt from Fide's Designs. Shout out to Fide's of Fide's Designs. If you can get Fide's Designs stuff, definitely worth it. Fide's Designs, and we'll put a little QR
link in the show notes.
Designs. Yeah, link in the show notes. So, Prof, welcome back to Oddball Show.
Hey, thanks, buddy. Great to be back here. It's been too long, in fact.
Yeah, I mean, did you have you had a child? You had another child?
Yes, I've had 2 actually. Yep.
Did you have a child before you had the baby? Before you dropped the?
Did you have a first child before you had the second child?
Shut up, Chad.
What?
Did you have the baby before the baby?
Did you have a baby before the second baby?
Did you have Nathan Jr. before you actually biologically conceived your own? Is your first child named after Nathan, Arizona?
You ever watch Nathan For You? I love that show.
I
have you ever watched Nathan For You?
I've seen clips, but so I know exactly what it is. In fact, you're seeing a clip of Nathan For You. All right, I totally understand what the show is.
Yeah. I feel like that guy is way too highbrow for the podcast, but I'd love to have him on the show and just talking about
too highbrow. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he's highbrow. I mean, if you have more than a Twitter following of me and Chad,
not highbrow, you just mean successful.
Yes, successful, not highbrow. Here I am tackling the people who I'd love to come on the show to talk about.
I don't really like that guy, but I'd love to have him on the show.
I'd love to have him on. No, actually, I like Nathan Fielder a lot. And actually, there was another show that he did on HBO that he produced called The John Show, I think it was. Not that John Show, Chad, but a show about this guy named John, and he just directs things. and it was called like This Is a Show or something like that. I don't know. It was really good.
I wish I knew what that was.
Yeah,
It's the
have
John
fun
show,
with that
right?
in the show notes. So this is the week that was. We have almost 3 of the
Wait,
original.
we're actually doing this?
Yeah, we're doing
For
this.
real?
We have the original 3. The only person we're missing is Ivan Scholar, and we would have the original lineup of Oddball Show together.
That's true.
That is very
That
true.
is crazy. I
Ivan
was
is
actually
out-
thinking,
Ivan
how
is out
cool
in,
would that be?
What, to have the original lineup?
Have the original lineup back? Oh
I
my
bet.
god!
I bet it would be a hard pull to get Ivan back on this podcast, but I say you should make that call.
Yeah. It might be tough, but because he moved to
Vegas,
other side of the country.
Yeah,
So,
he's a resident of Las Vegas now, and
Yeah.
is also a father now.
He's a father. Oh,
He is.
Yeah, I think his son must be like 2 now. I think.
oh no way! My
Yeah.
daughter is 8 months.
That's amazing.
So that's very cool. I just went to the library with her, and they said that she takes out the most books besides someone who homeschools kids.
Oh, jeez.
Hey man, get him reading early. It's important.
And then my wife said, those books, she's, she said, is she getting anything out of those books? And the librarian was like, she probably should be reading these kids' books. And I was like, wait, she doesn't need to be reading these
Stephen
books.
Hawking.
I mean, I've already read her Stephen Hawking. I've already read her Shel Silverstein, which was there's some deep cuts in that one, man.
Yeah, dude. I kind of forgot that too. Leo and I, my oldest, have been through Where the Sidewalk Ends a couple times, and sometimes I'm like, I kind of forgot how there's a couple poems that are really, really good.
Yeah.
And like how some of them are super weird. Like I have to sometimes all right, do you have any idea what's going on here? Do I have to explain why the dentist is now missing? When he's waiting on the alligator.
Yeah. What about the one?
I want to know what the advanced. I want to know what the advanced reading is you're doing. Okay, now just remember, as I read through the 120 Days of Sodom, any words you don't understand are all French. You don't know them at all.
They're all French. But one of the things that's really, really interesting about Oddball Show is now I'm like, I want to interview, I want to make 12-ish minute podcasts about things that you would never think about.
I think it's cool.
how A.A. Milne created Winnie the Pooh, and how the characters aren't necessarily nice characters, or they are nice characters, but they're all, he was in the war, and they're all reminiscent of characteristics of PTSD.
Right. Yeah. Right.
That is fascinating. I want to do a podcast on that. And then
you should.
Yeah. Well,
and talking about characters, we were just talking about Scooby-Doo. You could talk about the 5 characters of Scooby-Doo being each of the 5 colleges out in Western Mass.
Is that right?
Yeah. So Shaggy is UMass. Fred is Amherst College. Oh no, so Shaggy's Scooby's UMass. Shaggy is Hampshire, the art college. And then you have Smith and Mount Holyoke, and Mount Holyoke has to be Velma, and Smith has to be.
Are you making this
Daphne.
up?
No, not at all.
Oh, really?
I heard that as far back as the 90s.
Yeah.
Huh?
You could do a whole podcast.
You can even make a case that it's all about hunger, because I had a friend who was. I did not like Scooby-Doo at first. I actually was one of the 5% or 2% that liked Scrappy Doo, because at least he was proactive.
You have to. You're fired from your own podcast.
I know, really. He got annoying after the second year, believe me. But
wasn't Scrappy Doo a secondary character? He wasn't even a real character. He was
Scrappy Doo.
He
was a later development, and he was a nephew.
He was the cousin Oliver Yoko Ono of the Scooby gang. Because he actually did break up the group. Because after 2 seasons of having Scrappy around, it was just. I think it was just either Shaggy alone with Scooby and Scrappy, because no one wanted to fucking be around him, or it was Scooby and. It was a Scooby, Daphne, Scrappy, and Shaggy for a while. It took a while for the group to bounce back in real life.
So can I go back to how I said I don't really like Mindy Kaling? I don't, but I like the new show. I like the new show, the new Velma show. I think it's
she's Velma?
pretty good.
I'm not the biggest fan of it. I think they just tried to Rick and Morty the shit out of it. Yeah. I mean, let's face it. Like, I don't know much about Mindy Kaling. I just know her from The Office.
She's very smart. I mean, and
Mindy Kaling likes playing characters who are completely horrible. And I just don't know if I've seen lampooning of the Scooby characters. Look at the French Venture Brothers episode where they have they basically have the characters mimic like, who is the woman who got Stockholm syndrome from her kidnappers? I can't remember.
Oh, Nancy. No, I'm not going to say Nancy Sinatra. That's wrong. That's off the. That's not Nancy Sinatra. No, what's her name? She had the gun. Brittany. No, what was the hell's her name?
I'll look it up in just 1 minute. But the point.
I wish we had the internet available to us. That would be amazing.
Wouldn't it be something if we didn't have to use dial-up all the time?
If we could just like look up anything we want.
I'm looking it up right now, you bastard. Because there was actually someone in the comments who broke it down. Look up the Venture Brothers Scooby Doo, and you'll get all the characters. They call it, I think it's titled Meddling Kids. Let me see. I just have to look for the top comment.
No, I do remember South Park with Korn. That was like a Scooby-Doo-ish kind of podcast, Scooby-Doo-ish episode with Korn, the band.
Oh God, yes, with the weird creature and everything. That was very weird.
Yeah. There's been a lot of Scooby-Doo in the. But anyway, this is Velma. It's very interesting.
You must get a lot of Scooby-Doo in now that you're a father.
Who me? No, we haven't even gotten to Scooby-Doo yet. I can't wait. In fact, I went to look it up the other day because one of the streaming networks now has all of Hanna-Barbera. Oh. And so like I pulled it up and I was like trying to find just regular normal Scooby-Doo, and there were like a dozen iterations of Scooby-Doo movies and like all the ones with
it's kind of crazy how many iterations there are.
Was Scooby-Doo Hanna-Barbera?
Yeah, man. It's like the heart of Hanna-Barbera.
Oh, I thought Fred Flintstone was the heart of Hanna-Barbera.
Well, probably, yeah. I'd say, Flintstones were probably first.
And the Jetsons.
Flintstones and Wacky Races.
Oh, yeah, Wacky Races. The Gorilla.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, this is the week that was. I'm here with
cartoons from the 80s.
Yeah. I'm here with Chad.
The decade that was.
Well, yeah, the decade that was. I'm here with Prof, manager for Shaggy Palms. We will get into that as well. But Prof is old time friend of Oddball Show, and also how many times have we interviewed many guests? 2-3 seasons together?
Oh yes, so many, and very interesting, intelligent, insightful. Oh, those are all eyes. People that we brought on the show.
Your favorite that we ever interviewed besides Slug, because that's obvious.
Slug was pretty awesome. Let's see. We did, who always sticks in my head that I can't bring his name to my mind, but the EMT.
Oh, James.
Yes.
Yeah, I learned like a lot that I facts. I'm terrible with facts usually, and there was a lot from his interview and from the conversations we had with him even before the interview of like just
you're talking about James Boomhauer. You're talking about James Boomhauer. Yep. And we were literally talking to him while he was getting on a helicopter.
Yeah, he was about to get on a medvac flight.
How cool was I was in my office. Prof was in his office.
Yep.
And he was getting on a helicopter having a conversation with us.
But he does a lot of talks, obviously. For
make sure that wasn't an excuse. He's like playing helicopter music in the background,
making noises with his mouth.
Whenever my girlfriend is talking to her ex about their daughter, he's like he'll eventually go, "Oh, I'm sorry, I hear gunshots. I'll talk to you later." his gunshot, his helicopter, the new gunshots.
I'm so sorry, guys. You're breaking up. There's
helicopters, the new gunshots. Hashtag Chad Prento. That's great. That's coined by Chad Prento. So Chad,
before you ask me what you want to ask me, I have callback. Patty Hearst.
There you go.
Yeah,
you were way off with Nancy.
Look up Meddling Kids and Venture Brothers. It's basically the old gang just rewritten as either psychopaths or militants. Fred becomes Ted, modeled after Ted Bundy.
Oh.
Daphne becomes Patty, modeled after Patty Hearst.
Wow.
Velma becomes Valerie Solanas, and Sonny is Shaggy, aka the son of Sam, who of course got ideas by allegedly talking to
his imaginary friends,
his dog.
Scooby-Doo.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Brilliant.
Sorry, I needed that callback because I knew I had
That's a great callback.
Yes.
Now, we could talk more about Venture Brothers because that's a deep cut. That's a deep Adult Swim cut, I think. People
Very true.
Is it still on? Is it still on at this point?
It got discontinued a couple of years ago.
By the way, I just want to shout out.
Lots has happened since you had a kid.
There's a show called Oddball.
Time goes by real fast.
Oddballs.
Oddball was canceled like 3 years ago, and you're just joining us now.
No, isn't that no? Oh, Oddball Show has been canceled.
Yes.
No one's told you.
No, but
where you been, man?
Oddball's on Netflix, and literally, if you Google Oddball Show, it comes up the Netflix show. So,
and I have to give another prop.
You got to find a way to piggyback off that with promo.
If I'm going to give two media props, if I'm going to give like two props of random media I saw between April Fool's and today, Dave Bautista's TikTok did an April Fool's where he announced he was doing a comedy special.
Nice. All right.
And it was totally straight face. He's like, well, I've never been a stand-up comic before, but Netflix gave me $10 million. So, and it's just like very bad jokes. It's very cringy.
I like him as an actor. I think he's a very interesting person to watch. You know, him and like The Rock and Vin Diesel and whatnot. Actually, Vin Diesel was always an actor, I guess. But
I like
transitioning.
Glass Onion.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. We actually,
I want to see that.
Talking about
it's worth it.
I forget why we didn't. Knives Out. We came away from it being like, all right, that was not as good as I hoped. But I can never remember why I thought that. So. Yeah, we're excited.
It's because you were wrong. So bad memories just go through the memory hole.
That's fair.
You were wrong.
That does happen every once in a while.
One thing
you should feel wrong.
I was gonna shout out two things. Bruce Wise got a comment from someone. Did you see this, Chad?
No, I did not.
Bruce
Wise wasn't the one offering jewelry.
No, he got a comment from someone named. I should know this. George Raymond.
Okay.
Who Bruce Wise wrote a poem about. Now, George Raymond has a very famous blog. I don't know if he would say it's famous because I don't know. Would you say Oddball Magazine's famous? Probably not. But
I tell all my friends.
You know, Oddball Magazine is not a very famous thing.
Guys, but you won't believe I'm going on this podcast tonight.
I know, right?
Was it famous poetry magazine.
Like Annie Hall?
Yeah, no, check out
that scene in Annie Hall where Woody Allen brings in the artist that some pretentious art critic is talking about, and the guy and the artist goes, "You know nothing of my work." Was it Woody Allen, or was it more pleasant?
It was actually a really pleasant poem that Bruce wrote about George Raymond, talking about his blog, and George Raymond wrote and said, "Wow, really appreciate you writing." If I got George Raymond's name wrong by any, I was thinking we could have him on the podcast and talk about how Bruce Wise knows him, because you know what? By the end of this season, I'd like to know who the fuck Bruce Wise is. All right, who the fuck is Bruce Wise?
So it wasn't a Marshall McLuhan scene in Woody Allen's Annie Hall. Good. So it was very nice.
Hasn't Bruce Wise been part of the Oddball magazine for like years?
8 years, I think, or 25.
Cool.
Yeah, he's one of my most favorite people to read every week.
Yes,
and it's amazing. So anyway, shout out to George Raymond. Thank you for commenting on Bruce Wise's stuff. We really appreciate it. And thank you for checking out Oddball Magazine. We really appreciate it. So maybe come on the show. A couple things I want to talk about before we get into the Secrets of Skinny People is some ideas that I have for the 12-ish minute podcast. So let me throw them out for you. One is exploring Creative Commons podcast, doing a 12-ish minute podcast about what Creative Commons is, and getting more people involved with Creative Commons, because I feel like copyrights in general fuck shit up for people who want to research, reuse, and recycle other people's material. In fact, my book is a Creative Commons book, and there's such things as Creative Commons podcasts. There's Creative Commons journals, Creative Commons magazines, Creative Commons.
Is that your move to make it Creative Commons?
Yeah. So they'll probably do like a YouTube poop thing out of it. I hope they won't, but
hope it didn't I just want to make sure it didn't become a keep on trucking. How many references can I do? I'm just like pow, pow. I'm like I'm out Dennis Millering Dennis.
I was just about to say Dennis Miller.
Chippy.
Chippy. But one thing that we did when we reviewed last week, we had about seven Simpsons references in the first 3 minutes of the podcast, which it's got to be a record. So anyway, all right, this is the week that was. I'm with Prof and Chad. Let's get into it. Secrets of Skinny People, less than. This is pretty good. Chad, what's going on with this one?
What the fuck? We don't usually have random robot talk like that, but why not? Excuse me, can I borrow you two for a moment? Sure thing, random robot. Yeah, what's cracking? Is that what it says? God, yeah, what's cracking? Is this a video of you frolicking on a yacht with Harry Styles? Yes, that is indeed us. So let me get this straight. You mean to tell me that the two of you are dating Harry Styles? I like the idea of random robot becoming more robot-like if he gets angry, like more Dalek-like. Whoa, hold on. First of all, the concept of dating is so pedestrian. Our relationship with Harry goes well beyond societal norms. Yeah, normie, don't box us in. I'm feeling less than. See what you did? Now we're feeling less than. Are you happy? I wish I was capable of self-termination right now. Classic 6 behavior. So sad.
So, man, this has progressed. This has progressed mightily since when this first began, and they're still tied up.
Yeah, I think I've missed. I've seen a few episodes,
story.
But why are they tied up?
The random robot was mad about basically the girl left for reasons you can listen to the other podcast with Geoffrey about. And random robot got jealous and just decided to tie them up and feed them expired anthrax. I didn't know anthrax had an expiration date, but there you go.
Well, just it decreases in its strength.
This is the 2001 anthrax is all I can say, but I wouldn't want to take anthrax if it was past the expiration date, Percocet if it's 6 months ahead of time. What am I fucking what am I, Luddite? Come on. But anthrax, I don't think so.
Is this anthrax good anthrax? This is not.
This is the
anthrax here.
Anthrax, the side effects of anthrax. Well, no, those are the effects. Anyway,
those are the direct effects.
Direct effects of anthrax.
Those are the true effects. But Christ. Anyway,
I love how they've gotten famous. I love how they've got an Oscar and now they're partying with Harry Styles on a yacht.
I asked some suggestions of how this could end. I don't want to lose the momentum, and I don't want it to stop unorganically, but I do have some ideas about how they could drive random robot more crazy.
So, Prof, random robot kind of came in a part that was one of the characters' dark times, and was there to sympathize with him for a long time, and then he just kind of got cut out for a while, and then he just kind of inserted himself back in, like, what the fuck? Where did
I've read a couple of the episodes, and I try to understand what's happening without having to read all the way back. But I didn't know Random Robot's origin, so I a little of that was lost on me.
And also, there was a really great image that I still want to make a T-shirt of that said, "Where did it all go wrong?" And it's a picture of Random Robot, and I think
that's good.
Where did it all go wrong? And on the back, Oddball Magazine. I think that's chef's kiss.
Yeah, that's a good T-shirt.
Anything else we want? Shout out to Geoffrey Fallon. He's really knocking it out of the park with this.
He's also the only one listening to us. So
shout out Geoffrey. Thank you.
And to my other 6 listeners, I apologize if I keep on going off screen. I did not eat all day, didn't even have breakfast, so I'm gnawing on popcorn chicken in the background.
I don't know. I think let's edit that out. No, I'm just kidding.
I said more popcorn chicken the better.
You don't know what I'm doing here. For all I know, I could be like, "Yes, master."
Wow!
I don't want to convey the wrong message. Although now that's going to meme. That's going to be a meme.
For those people who are
getting ready to ask people to submit to Oddball.
For those on the audio only podcast, Chad is making some obscene gestures. You'll have to tune into the YouTube to see those.
Yeah, you have to see what's going on with those obscene gestures. That's kind of like, when we already talked about that. When the comedian's like, and then I did this, anyway. That's
you talked about it with
episodes
Dimitri
ago.
Martin,
yeah. So She Who Laughs Last 80s Danger. By the way, is are we closer to having her come on the podcast to talk about what's going on?
Sorry, I'm working on that. I want to talk to her. She has applied for like a special program in New York, like a special artist retreat, which I actually wrote the letter for. So I'm hoping she gets accepted, and then we actually have, a little bit more to talk about. That'll be a big step if she gets accepted. I hope she does.
Yeah, who we're talking about is Ann Skove, the creator of She Who Laughs Last. We really appreciate her, I would say, oddball take on popular culture, and I really appreciate the fact that she kind of gives us what she gives us every week. It's all great.
That's two meta demerits, by the way.
I did meta demerited.
Yes, for saying she has an oddball. Like,
yeah, I meta demerited myself. That's not great.
My favorite merit demerit was this cartoonist for a comic called The Least I Can Do. He helps his friend move. And the guy goes, "Thanks for helping me after a rough situation." The guy goes, "Hey, it's the least I can do." All of a sudden, a hand comes down from the sky. "Don't you do that again." It would be the cartoonist. Sorry.
That's kind of like in that episode when Homer Simpson almost gets erased, but it's an art.
Yes.
It's an art. That was a great episode, by the way. The museum episode, it was an art gallery episode where he almost gets erased but he gets knocked out by Picasso's paintings and stuff. And then, it's such a good one. Anyway, Dance with Danger. What's happening?
Dance with Danger. Basically, a number of 1980s health hazards that I can actually attest to. For instance, Lionel Richie dancing on the ceiling. Tom Cruise lip syncing without any pants. God, I'm blind. Okay, there we go. My friend put on fuzzy blue socks to practice the moonwalk. She was pretty good at it, but I can see that another electrical hazard.
Yeah.
And there are many more that you should visit either this podcast or go to oddballmagazine.com to see.
Yeah. I'll just do one more. Slam dancing was a thing at the Jockey Club.
Oh, God.
These are pretty good drawings, too.
She does a good job.
By the way, did you ever wonder why Michael Jackson did that thing in Smooth Criminal, and wonder how he actually did that?
Well, it's probably tied to when he did that thing in Billie Jean. But
no, I mean, how
did he make the sidewalk lit up?
Well,
yeah, it's true. Well, he performed Billie Jean, and that's when he debuted the moonwalk.
But how did he do the Smooth Criminal thing? We all remember the Smooth Criminal.
You're talking about the tilting?
The tilting thing. Yeah, how did he do that?
He doesn't have ankles.
Did he have like magnetic ankles or like magnetic things like inserted to his feet? That wasn't real, right?
Magnetic
things,
ankles, mysteries of the 80s.
I mean, that was the 80s for you. I love Smooth Criminal, and then I didn't like when that's the 80s. Then I didn't really like the remake by Alien Ant Farm, and that made me not like Smooth Criminal anymore.
I actually didn't. I'm the one person who also I didn't mind Scrappy at the time, but I didn't mind the Alien Ant Farm at the time either.
I thought hot takes from Chad tonight.
What if I just commented and said, "Hey, fuck you"?
I thought the Easter eggs were worth it enough, including the kid dressed up in blankets, mask, doing basically imitating Michael Jackson.
I've actually never saw the video of Alien Ant Farm.
You should. It's worth at least a watch.
Did they write any other songs besides that one that went?
They wrote movies.
Alien Ant Farm?
With Alien Ant Farm, and then they also wrote a song which was infamous for having a music video where they crashed the I think it was the Source Awards, like basically R&B rap awards. They played on a ceiling on a roof, trying to I don't know why they did it. I don't know what the point was.
You sure you're not talking about like the Bloodhound Gang? You're talking about Alien Ant Farm?
No, I am talking about Alien Ant Farm.
You go deep with Alien Ant Farm.
He sounds pretty certain.
Yeah, you sound
He's
like
like you said Alien Ant Farm, and he went into a visceral
I had
memory.
Alien Ant Farm on rotation when I first got Yahoo Launch. I just liked Smooth Criminal, but then all of a sudden I got every other freaking song, which I had to either say yay or nay to.
What was Yahoo Launch?
Do you edit the Alien Ant Farm Wikipedia page?
It's still around. It's just not what it used to be. It basically was like what you had before YouTube illegally downloaded music.
YouTube Launch. By the way, I'm just going to say another hot take.
Yahoo Launch, you goofball.
What did I say? YouTube
Yahoo.
Launch? Oh,
Yes, you did.
Yahoo is the worst email service ever. I
still have.
I appreciate Gmail. I appreciate Gmail a lot. Don't get that much spam. But Yahoo, literally, all I get is spam emails all the time. I get Camp Lejeune more times than I can count. I have nothing to do with Camp Lejeune.
The only reason Yahoo is still around is because there's people like you and me. They're like, I'm not getting rid of my Yahoo email address. Otherwise, they would not exist as a company.
My Yahoo was what started my MySpace. So I'll shout out Yahoo because thank you for letting me start my MySpace and my, that's how I started my MySpace.
Instrumental then.
Instrumental in creating what you've created, Yahoo. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Creating what you create. Oh God.
Oh, I love this, by the way. I saw this one, the snow globe here. This is pretty cool. Random what you find. Did you take this picture?
Which one? No, that was was Nicholas Eugene Tonzola, and this is another one of mine barely holding together except by like the concept of theme and environment, like in pollution.
So let's give Prof the table read, yeah?
Do you want to read, Prof?
Sure, man. I'm
I'm tired of reading. I'm trying to give it up.
All right, so you got to scroll down a little bit so I can read the gentleman's name.
Literacy sucks, Chad.
Hey, so you're in charge of scrolling there, buddy. So you gotta go back to the title again. I can't see the title. All right, a poem by Mike Mesterton-Gibbons. Wait a minute. Why does it say what in the world? Copyrighted by Nicholas Eugene Tonzola.
That's the photo.
Oh, that's the photo. Okay, gotcha. Great. A wind is ill if it blows nothing good, while Paris turns its nose up at the stench in districts where its striking workers would not gather garbage. Legions of your French drain-dwelling rats delight in rancid smells, inviting them to surface and find treats served up as haute cuisine at top hotels. Garbage bags piled high on Paris streets, lest you infer that only rats say bon. Let's not forget, olfactory disgust impels the chic to slap more perfume on for days on end, so sales of perfume must increase. Perfumers too say bon in France. The wind's not ill if it brings some bonne chance. You want to read his bio here?
Little timely pieces, Chad. Well done. Right. Yeah. No, I mean, this is some serious stuff.
Purposely timely and an acrostic poem too.
Oh, explain it.
So you look at the words. That's the first letter of every line.
Oh wow! Look at that. A wind is ill.
If it.
A wind is ill if it. No shit.
A wind is ill fit.
What?
I think that's what it says. A wind is ill fit.
The first line is
a wind is ill if it. Duh.
Yeah. Well, a wind is ill fit is.
Wind is ill. I fit. Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense. I love that. So not only is it acrostic, which is clever, it's also topical, which is great, and it's timely. So that's awesome. I love it. Good stuff.
There you go.
Now, Mike Mesterton-Gibbons been in Oddball a couple times, right?
Yes, he's kind of our regular roving poet, and I'm hoping to get more joining us. It's just been very tough to find people who can write so quickly in reaction to the news. Matter of fact, it's virtually freaking impossible.
So this is on Tuesday. This is on
Monday.
This is on Monday. Okay, because I was gonna say Tuesday is usually a mental health lean. I just can't seem to count because I was like, oh, I got this. March 27th plus 7 equals, Atlanta Falcons. So, so all right. So now we got. Oh, by the way, shout out to TJ Edson for this amazing banner.
Yes,
Oddball Comic Spotlight. This is awesome. Where the hell did he get this drawing? It's great. I love it. All right, so what do we got going on here? I'll try and explain this one. All right. You're going to need a lot more than team spirit. And
I did like this one from Abel Hollinger.
Abel Hollinger. Now, do you know Abel Hollinger?
Nope, blind submission, and I'm finally glad I was able to get him to get his work included.
I like his bio. Abel Hollinger is an aspiring cartoonist. He's Canadian, which means he likes canoeing, cold weather, and saying "a" repeatedly. He also likes dogs.
A?
A. Now, I have a friend who was from Boston. Now he has a Boston Canadian accent, which is hilarious.
Oh, that sounds
like
terrible.
Oh, yeah.
That's just trying too hard.
Sorry to your friend.
Yeah. No, but he has a very Boston accent, but then he goes, "eh?" It was like, yeah.
Shouldn't it be ah?
I can't even try to mesh those two.
What's
this all about?
Yeah, like, I want this beer, ah. Like, what are you trying to say? Are you trying to say A? Yeah, ah. No,
I gotta go to Tony. I gotta go to Tim Robbins. And that's not Tim Robbins. I gotta go to Tim Hortons, kid.
I gotta go to Tim Robbins.
I gotta go to Tim Robbins. Oh man. How'd they give this guy a podcast? You're right. Everyone can have a podcast. Everyone can have a podcast, ladies and gentlemen. All you gotta do is, I don't know.
Have a podcast.
Have a podcast. Just
have a microphone.
Get a microphone. Get a microphone and go.
Something to say, man. About Tim Robbins.
Have something to say. Anyway,
there's a 12-minute topic.
The second part's option.
Tim Robbins.
Yeah, Tim Robbins.
Tim Robbins versus Tim Hortons.
The Hudsucker Proxy. That's a great movie. Has anyone ever seen it? You ever seen that one?
I have not.
I think you based Oddball Magazine on that. Instead of drawing the circle, you drew a little circle with a 3 in it.
Yeah. No, I drew a 3 ball because that's the only thing I know how to draw. I know how to draw one thing, and that is a 3 ball. And letters.
Draw any of the other numbers?
It just doesn't look good.
He's more of a letter guy.
That's fair.
The 3 is a very cool number because
I can only count to 4. All right, there we go.
My secret's safe with you, Chad.
Oh, God.
But anyway, so like this, the way that this person, so I'm not even going to tell the podcast listeners what is happening here, but I love the way that the unicorn shapes the garden of roses. I think it's fantastic, and it totally makes sense when you say you're going to need a lot more than team spirit.
Yeah.
Very much.
That'll get them. Now they'll have to click over to YouTube and be like, wait,
unicorn,
unicorn team spirit.
Oh, hey, we got another Edward Michael Sopranowitz. This is great. I will read this poem by Joe DeBritz. So,
I'm playing the video in case you didn't know. Oh, you probably don't. Give me 1 second. Oh hell! Oh snap! I screwed up because I didn't share the audio, so it wasn't as clever as I thought it was going to be with the surprise. But I can surprise now.
We'll act surprised. That's hilarious. Prof, isn't that hilarious? Prof.
Oh, wait. I have to choose to click over to his. That is, I am going to have nightmares.
Wait, are you serious?
You have to click over to his screen.
Oh, Psycho Stick. They're cool.
Cookie Mosher.
Elmo. We're going to keep on talking over this so they don't copyright strike us. Yeah. This is a reaction video.
This is a reaction video. We're reacting.
Yes, we are reacting.
That's how you get. I couldn't understand.
We're reacting. Hey, Chad, are we reacting right now? Wow, I'm reacting. And
I can only count to 4.
Now, Chad,
nothing like covering "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor" for Sesame Street related songs.
That's pretty good.
Chad, if by chance we cannot publish the podcast because of that, that is why we're making this a Commons podcast.
Then you'll have to be like 2 minutes later after copyright infringement. Here's a link.
That would be really funny. 2 minutes later, or now something completely different. And now, remember we talked about last week? And now this man has chosen the way he wants to die. He runs up the hill. Oh man.
You like that Monty Python bit, don't you?
I love it. This man is choosing the way he wants to die. All right. Poem by Joe DeBritz. Nothing scientific. Granted safe passage from an unfortunate blackout, the little wheels on the bottom of my dresser drawer won't stay on the tracks. And no matter how seriously I take it, I can't keep everything folded. Shirts smothering socks and things that should be hung left crumpled, cords lying on the floor, boxes, sketchbooks filled with crude drawings of anatomy that I've constructed, nothing real, nothing scientific. Banned books and banned substances litter the unconscious mind of everyone who ever considered themselves a thinker at one point or another, only be left with an unorganized dresser, a few dollars, and hours of futile work, offering them nothing more than survival. And it goes on. I like this one a lot.
This is definitely one of the poems that kind of reminded me of you and Bukowski. So
good company.
So I thought it was good. So I thought it was a good selection. And
Joe
Michael Sopranovitz is my go-to for like anything describing different minds,
consciousness, and the mind and stuff. I really do appreciate the way you pair the work together weekly at Oddball Chat. Joe DeBritz is a poet and painter who lives and works in Asheville, North Carolina. He's originally from upstate New York, where he was encouraged to appreciate and participate in the arts by his mother, who was also a painter and poet. DeBritz is a lover of the outdoors, where he spends most of his time. He's not working, hiking, and camping in the nearby Blue Ridge Mountains. And Edward Michael Sopranovitz is the grandson of Irish and Russian Ukrainian immigrants. He grew up on a small farm in Appalachia. He has a grad background in painting and printmaking. Some of his artwork has recently or will soon appear in Fish Food, Streetlight, Another Chicago Magazine, The Door is Ajar, The Phoenix, and the Harvard Advocate. Edward is also a published poet who has been nominated for the Pushcart Prize multiple times. Chad, you ever been nominated for a Pushcart Prize?
Edward's probably going to be one of the poets who's a contributing writer and artist for our focus on artists who write, like Jennifer Matthews, Edward Galt.
Oh, yeah. And
Bonnie Matthews poet himself. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Bonnie doesn't write herself, but she does collaborate. She hasn't offered a collaboration this year, but she very well might.
Well, I want to say fuck March, because I don't like March. March is a horrible month. A lot of things happen in March, and I was so ready for March to end.
March is usually my favorite month, but I kind of agree with you. It was brutal this time.
Yeah. Jagged Thought 469 Cosmic Entrance. I say I hate you, but I don't hate you. I respect you. I respect the witches. I respect St. Elizabeth. I respect the massive layoffs. I respect the car crashes and the hospital stays. I respect unleashing the power within, only to sit at my desk ready to rage, only to walk outside and be carried off by ambulance. Losing face and foundation, sleepwalking hoop dreams, hanging neckties, demons in HD TV. I respect the angels and the Alexa and the monkeys and machines. I don't know everything, but I respect you. March, I respect you, you beautiful bitch goddess. April, I await your cosmic entrance.
Respect. Respect the angels. Respect.
Respect.
Beautiful bitch goddess.
You beautiful bitch goddess. You watch you beautiful bitch goddess.
And other lines that got me kicked off of Plenty of Fish.
And that should be the name of a chapbook. And other lines that got me kicked off of Plenty of Fish.
I could do that because given that I was on Plenty of Fish at one point. Nothing to be proud of. I took it so unserious after a while. I actually put a picture of like a Homestar Runner cartoon character as my profile picture. I'm like, I don't care anymore. I don't care. But it was kind of crazy because Plenty of Fish was definitely, if you don't go to a paying site, you're going to get a lot of refuse.
Isn't there one for farmers called like Farmer Match or something like that?
I wish I knew, but
Chad knows. Chad's part of Farmer Match.
Plenty of Fish was the poor man's Tinder for my time.
Did you have to?
I have one story.
But real quick, did you have to boot up your AOL disk to get on Plenty of Fish?
He has limited minutes, you know.
I had to book up. I had a certain
amount of internet.
Dude, minutes. I was an indie darling. I had complete internet access, which was a company based out of Cambridge for my internet service. I was OG indie. It's kind of crazy. I don't think they exist anymore, but it was kind of a crazy service for a while.
Yeah.
It was from an independent computer store that just ran the modem service, like the internet service, and could get you hooked up for I think like $10 a month.
Huh.
I actually did have that. I had all that. That was 1999. That's all you had. I mean, good luck trying to get a fucking Ethernet connection in an Alston apartment.
You know what? My
2002.
my first besides Ask Jeeves was Web Crawler. You think Web Crawler even exists anymore?
It probably went the way of Lycos, Dogpile. I could name you a bunch. I used to go through all the websites in the hopes that one search engine would be better than the other.
Yep, I remember.
Yeah, so Lycos, Dogpile, Jeeves, Ask Jeeves, for God's sakes.
I think Ask Jeeves went out with OK Cola. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it was sponsored by Surge.
Probably.
Anyway,
but the story. Plenty of Fish. I was still friends with my girlfriend and my ex-girlfriend at the time. And that's a great way to say it. I was friends with my girlfriend at the time. No, I was friends with my ex at the time. And she was using Plenty of Fish as well. And we would kind of exchange war stories. And she found this guy from New Hampshire, right on the border of New Hampshire and Gloucester. And she ended up going out with this guy. And he was late and he had to run, and then he had to run again, only to find out that she checked the police reports and his name. She was a perfect researcher. She could find people out even before Google was fully developed, even before social media. And she found that this guy was implicated in the burning of a car, like a car being set on fire. And they think he did. We're pretty sure he did it before he went on the date with her.
Pre-date ritual, you think? This guy just sets her cells
up? There was not a second date, so I can't say for sure.
Volkswagen on fire.
I can't say for sure. You know?
Set his Jetta on fire.
Just a little arson.
What a Chevette? What are you gay? Come on, don't. Come on. That's gay, GHEY, and the non-offensive. Well, more progressive than anything else. Come on.
Oh my gosh.
You just burned a Chevy down for me. Come on. You gotta fucking work harder than that.
Oh man. All right. So
your editing is gonna be a nightmare, and I actually am glad.
Have fun with this one. All right.
All
right. So
can you be a woman poet talking about
I know I'm not.
Oh, I love this one. Go ahead, read this one. This one's great, Prof.
All right, poem by Emily Hawkins. Okay, that's not a real word. Okay, it's like, how do you say that word? American titerature.
Literature, yeah.
Okay. This is right. Yeah.
One does not simply walk into the Food Lion without girded breasts. Vulgar, obscene, shocking, going without a brassiere is a risk that I am sometimes willing to take. Is a risk that I am sometimes willing to take. I'll have you know that I hold a master's degree in American literature, as well as a PhD in letting it all hang free. My breasts swing and sway with each step through the produce aisle, appraising melons and clementines with a smirk on my face. Put those things away, Mildred proclaims over the shriveled, overly ripe avocados and low-hanging fruit. Emily Hawkins holds a master's degree from Southern New Hampshire University in American literature in creative writing. When she is not writing, she can be found in her music room playing one of her many instruments, spending time with her partner of 9 years, or playing with her dog, Oreo. She currently resides in the mountains of southwest Virginia. Edward S. Galt is a poet and fine art photographer. He lives in Mosaic Commons, a co-housing community in Berlin, Massachusetts.
Hey, should we click on that?
A galt is a galt.
Should we click on his link? You want to see where it goes?
It's basically a blog. He doesn't have a formal website yet, but he does have a blog. I don't know if he's updated recently. You can check it out.
All right, Chad. I guess we won't click on the link. Anyway, check out Edward S. Galt's.
Some people's websites aren't as exciting as mine. Okay.
By the way, if you want to check out a great website, check out
OnlyFans. So you're talking about?
No, I'm the Ugly Fans website.
It has an Ugly Fans website.
Top 106%.
So, Ugly Fans. Chad, how come you paired
President and a client.
How come you paired this with Edward S. Galt's work here?
Edward is one of the 2 or 3 artists I can contact and reliably get like something on the topic. And when I saw this, I thought the American literature worked, but I didn't really have anything that matched it. I had a couple of my supermarket photos, but they were like all close-ups of like decapitated fish heads in the meat aisle, like looking like they're saying "get out." But and plus they're too phallic for me anyway. I'll look for that video, that photo. But point is, it didn't seem right, so I just emailed Edward Galt about 3 weeks ago and just said, "Do you think you have anything for me?" And he did, and I just had to wait like 2 weeks for. Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago because I tried to publish the artist once every 2 weeks. So 2 weeks ago, he handed something to me, and then I slotted this for last Wednesday, and that was a good move because I've been trying to feature all women during Women's History Month or Women's Appreciation Month or Women's Appreciation They have a History Month. I forget the name now, but I was glad to at least get the all women feature. I think I got all women features for every Wednesday of March. So I was very happy about that.
Chad, I just want to say one thing about this is Wednesday. So Wednesday is when we premiere our best poetry of the week. So shout out to Poem by Emily Hawkins.
And this took a minute this took a minute to sway me because I normally don't pick funny stuff on Wednesdays, but this one just swayed me in a certain way. So I was like, yeah, this is good.
And if you look at the pairing, it fits pretty perfectly with
yes.
with what this one is. And
yes.
You're gonna have to see that if you go to our YouTube.
And yeah, and I actually have to get to work after getting with you guys on this podcast because I have a perfect poem for Wednesday, a great lead into Easter weekend.
Huh,
I won't tell you what it is, but Ira Joel Haber is my go-to for that one.
Well, it's funny that you should say Ira Joel Haber because remember, just like last week, we had Sally Smith. Sally Smith, is that right?
You're saying the week before last?
Last week. Oh yeah, we haven't pushed that one yet. Sally Smith, who was a very much like a mixed media person, just like this person who is new.
You're talking Sally.
Yes, new to us, who you were really excited about. So let's talk about this artist, John Engstrom.
He is a brand new find for me, but he's been doing this for years. He is really good talent, and he is also a open micer and a poet, who might be showing up as part of our contributing artist / writers series this April. I'm going to ask him. And
so it's this April that we're doing this. Should we do a call for submissions right now for all of our
because we need timely reactions. I feel bad that I don't have a reactionary poem for what's going to happen tomorrow with Trump.
I mean, how are we not doing that? I mean, Oddball has been on the finger of the pulse on this stuff.
I don't want to do another
on the finger of the pulse.
On the finger of the pulse, where the beer flows like wine. Yes,
where the sun flocks like the salmon of Capistrano.
I'm kind of proud that we're not doing any fucking Simpsons references. I'm a little bit more of a deeper cut guy. Yeah. Plus, I haven't seen The Simpsons in like over a decade.
Yeah, I don't know. They're still on though. I think they're on season. I'm 42, so I think they're on season 55. 40? Yeah, no, season 40. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I have no idea. But anyway.
Atlanta Falcons. All right,
yes.
So anyway, John Engstrom. Was this someone that you actually seeked out?
Yes, because he was interested in going to the Stone Soup open mics, and he was posting his stuff just basically on his Facebook wall. So I said, this is and not even Ira does that. So I'm just like, I can find a better spot for this stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's shout out Stone Stew Poetry. We don't talk about that enough. Chad, what is Stone Stew Poetry? If you're in Boston, how can you get involved with that?
Just look for me. Just look for my name. It's right here, hypothetically, in one version of this.
Just change your name, Chad Parento of Stone Stew Poetry.
And Stone Stew Poetry meets every Wednesday, 2 weeks out, 2 to 3 weeks out of the month. It's online. 2 weeks out of the month, it is in person. The in-person feature will be on the 12th of April to be announced, and then the next online feature is Karen Friedland, who I'm very thrilled to have.
And Prof, can we just shout out Shaggy Palms for a second? And can you talk about Shaggy Palms just for a quick minute?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Just like right now.
Yeah, just do it. Let's talk about Shaggy Palms.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So,
Do it.
Shaggy Palms is
do it now.
Thanks, guys. I feel encouraged. Shaggy Palms is an artist from Massachusetts who I now manage. He has been releasing music for about a year and a half now, and now this year he's dropping a new song every 6 weeks. He's a indie rock alternative pop artist. He's one of the most talented guys that I've had the chance to run into, and has a lot of great music coming this year. We're doing a lot on TikTok. You should follow us on TikTok and regular platforms like Instagram and Facebook, but TikTok is kind of the lead of where we're putting up all of our short form content so far. And his new song that dropped the 23rd of March is Dorchester. So he has been wanting for a while. Like I said, he's a pop artist, but he's wanting for a while to do some work in hip hop, and he has now started a collaboration with Colgan Johnson, who you guys are well familiar with. Colgan's a Boston artist, an MC, but he's also the owner and operator of 1981 & Co., which is a visual art imprint. In fact, we should get him to submit some stuff to you guys.
Super talented artist, man. Super talented.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And so the first song, they got a bunch of songs coming out together this year, but the first song in their collaboration is Dorchester, which came out on the 23rd, which is like a great hard-hitting, like sharp lyrical anthem about Dorchester.
Would it be cool if we ran that at the end of the podcast as an outro of the podcast?
You totally can. I don't know what it'll do for your copyright. I don't know how that works necessarily, but like cool by us.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll end the podcast on this podcast with that song, that whole song in its entirety.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So this whole week we're doing a lot of promo on our Instagram and TikTok about Dorchester, and we got he was pretty reluctant. Shaggy Palms was pretty reluctant to do interviews at any point, but we finally got him to sit down. So we've kind of broken those up into little clips for TikTok, and we got Colgan to sit down for a set of interviews. So
nice.
Some great questions. That TikTok works well for doing them like 1 or 2 questions at a time. Just
so how do we find your TikTok, Prof?
TikTok is at Shaggy Palms. All of them are at Shaggy. The only one that's different is Instagram is Shaggy_Palms, but everything else is at Shaggy Palms.
Chad's also pretty active on TikTok too. Yeah. Chad, what is your TikTok? You're pretty active too.
I think it's just called @Poet for Hire.
Yeah. Mine's Jason from Oddball Magazine, and since I despise TikTok and I despise everything social media, you won't find me on it because I tried doing it and I failed miserably, and I was like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna read a book."
You know how long it took for me to get like 5,000 hits, and that was just like one video, and it was encapsulating on another video, the seagull meme, making my way downtown, walking.
That was so
I'm a seagull. Go fuck yourself. That's what I had to put a Roxbury seagull with that voiceover, and I got 5,000 hits. It took 5,000 people to realize this guy isn't the real seagull. I'll fuck him off. Fuck off. And
hey, fuck off. Hey, fuck you, buddy.
My second most impressive TikTok is Donnell, the legendary Donnell Anderson at St. Patrick's. That's my girlfriend's daughter's dad. Not drinking at all, but causing the most noise on Dorchester's Dodd Ave. When
so this makes sense. This makes sense. It all makes sense. We're talking about Dorchester. You're talking about.
I was going to say I should stitch in to that video with just Dorchester.
Oh, there you go.
Stitch in.
But yeah, my second most famous video is Donnell yelling to a guy who has white hair and a beard, Whitey, Mr. Bulger, Mr. Bulger.
Mr. Bulger.
Mr. Bulger.
And it's hilarious because the closed caption automatic put him down as Mr. Vulture until I corrected it.
That's so good.
Mr. Vulture. I'm like,
I do appreciate TikTok. I did have a lot of fun with it, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stitch rappers. And I started rapping and I was like, you know what? This is embarrassing. I'm going to stop doing this. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll get like a really good mic. And then I was like, I'm watching these people and they're like, and I still got really like, aggravated with like the guy who was like, I like this song and this song and this song and this song. And you know what I mean? He's like, this is a cool song. And this one. And this one. That was really annoying to me. And then also my TikTok algorithm was just like chicks just going like, you know, just chicks, man. You know?
Just for those of you on the audio only, Jason just went. It was just chicks on my TikTok going and held his boobs. Just going,
my least
boobs.
favorite algorithm on TikTok, the one I hate the most, is when they just fucking paste up. They just do South Park clips like to other video games, like other free-to-play handheld games, like now, below, and then the South Park clip above, and they got like 23 million hits. I'm like, fuck.
I know, right? Yeah, right. But anyway, I want to do another 12-ish minute podcast about the importance of TikTok and the importance of social media versus as the last.
And while you're off it.
As the last freedom of expression. I fucking hate it because I see people like their foods and stuff, and I'm like, I'm not eating that right now. I'm eating Skinny Pop. You know, I should eat better popcorn than that. You know, but like I don't even eat Skinny Pop. This is an example.
What's up with that?
Yo, man, Skinny Pop. But the point is, what I'm getting at is TikTok is an expression, is a people-owned let's not say that. It's a people-owned expression where you can literally express yourself more freely than half the other social medias. So kudos to TikTok. I hope they don't ban it.
Yeah, I mean, it's made for everybody to be a content creator, you know, and that like makes the bar of content pretty low sometimes, but it also is like it makes it, if you have something that you want to get out for content, very easy. And
also it's a way of sharing actual news.
That is also true.
You know, that's it. So I mean, I literally, I mean, we were talking earlier about ideas for the podcast, and so someone on Oddball Foundation showed me Paris on Instagram and Paris on TikTok, and it's a polar opposite difference. So that's all I'm gonna say.
That's true.
Now,
here, actually, before you jump off TikTok, there is a poet that I follow often that you should totally. I'll get his name and I'll send it to you because he just reads his poems with like a cool little music in the background, and often I see it. I'm like, I don't know why Jason doesn't do this for Oddball. You can just read your Jagged thought each week.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and he's great. Like, and he's like kind of overly dramatic a little bit, but like I like his poetry, and he has a great following, just literally just sitting there reading poems, you know. So
yeah, I guess I'm very sensitive. No one likes my stuff and has never liked my stuff, so I just became an outcast and created Oddball Magazine. And honestly,
I would just publish it in my magazine.
I don't give a
I'm
fuck.
too shy.
I'm too shy. I'm like the artist, man.
Yeah, the artist, man.
Yeah, I'm the artist, man. All right, so
I'm sorry, just one last thing about Shaggy Palms. The other place to visit us is at shaggypalms.com and sign up for our email list. We're pretty active on there, and there's also, you know, discounts and promotions for our online store, and a whole set of stories about where he came from and what he does that you can't get.
Very interesting guy, I gotta say.
Certainly
very
is
interesting, man. Very funny guy. And
I know no one else like him.
Can I say that? Can I say he's an oddball for sure?
I think that's a very accurate term. Yes.
Yeah.
I think you'd be in good company.
Yeah. Atlanta Falcons. I just do that now because I saw like people like kind of like I don't know. I want to remix my stuff. So Atlanta. All right.
You're like the mousy guy in The Simpsons. Atlanta Falcons. Who said that? Who keeps saying that? It was him.
It was me. All right.
Actually, Prof, while I have you here, have you ever heard of OSW?
No, I don't think so.
You check their old school wrestling podcast, and they are pound for pound, reference for reference, the most Simpsons-filled
Oh yeah.
podcast in your entire life. It is like they will.
OSW. All right.
Here's everyone's favorite Irishman, Jay Hunter. Yay! In your face, Irish Space Coyote. like right off the bat.
In your space.
Right
By the way,
off the bat.
Marge, I just
very
gotta say, you have a butt that won't quit.
Oh god. $2, forget it. Anyway.
All right. Anyway, you know, all right. Anyway, let's move on. Poem by Emma Wells, with the work from John Engstrom. So, Chad, you want to read this one?
I suppose I should. Give me one sec. Oh yeah, this is an interesting one of like basically like two art pieces almost unraveling as the story and the tale's being told. Wilding, furrowing deeply dark, desperate to unearth lost childhood as a buried lantern. Smudged coat out by warlock hands and closing spiritual power within cursing, closing clutches. Like locked Egyptian tombs, I weep and wallow, longing for brethren, siblings to cherish, playing in highland forests before crows cawed, foretelling cruelty, with unmoving splintered beaks, marking death with onyx feather tips, as invisible warrants floating on gathering tidal winds. Wandering for centuries, hexing, maiming, purging human life, my tears burn, scolding heathen cheeks as devilish stamps of flame set aglow beneath my welding skin, tarnished with bruised brass, marred by torturous taints of time. Yearning for lost purity, my spent fairy charm beckons me still, where my childlike face dupes all like a fallen angel, brandishing witchy pentagons as new birthmarks, while named victims tumble from clifftop edges, lost to witchcraft. I dissolve humanity as melting ice caps, depleting to watery forgetfulness in my ruinous wilding hands. My heathen feet splash in mortal puddles, blurring lines of lost identity as I bend as a bow to the will of sorcery, bowing in allegiance like a much-loved servant. I am the wildest nightmare, a twisted thorn amongst floral blooms.
Wow, that's powerful.
Why do you like it?
Now, Emma Wells was part of the Oddball stories a few weeks back.
Yeah, this is one of the few times where I've actually published an author almost back to back.
That's awesome.
I thought their work was that good.
Now, Emma Wells, if you're listening, and thank you for friending us on Instagram, appreciate it. Send your stuff back to Oddball Magazine. We really appreciate it. This is some good stuff. Good stuff. Also, it was on Wednesday as well, right? So this is also the new stuff, yes. And I think it's great. And now the pairing. Explain the pairing.
Well, I just thought about like the let loosing of the wild side. I thought what could be described generously as an animal skull or like an animal dissection. It was in a way the poet was also dissecting their animal self. And I wanted to keep that up. I want to get like at least some image of wildlife, even though this is like it's a very controlled view of wildlife, but so is a dissection. I was just and that was my logic going through that.
Wow, that's awesome. Wow, Prof, what do you Prof? Remember when we interviewed Cecilia McGow and we're like, she like said all this like crazy stuff about neuroscience, and I go, wow. And you go.
Yeah. Well, we do have a very deep knowledge of neuroscience to draw upon.
Actually, it was astrophysics. It wasn't even neuroscience.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I remember that about.
And she goes, quasars. She goes, she says all this cool stuff, and I go, wow, and you go, wow. That's how the podcast started.
That was a very cool conversation.
That was one of my favorites, actually, Cecilia McGow. You can
actually before you get to James Van Looy, I gotta jump off here, guys, but it's really great to talk to you, and we should do this again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do this again soon. Prof, thanks for being on the show. We will talk to you soon, and Check out Shaggy Palms, all that kind of stuff. We'll talk to you soon. Yeah.
Cool, brother. Yo, guys, you do great work at Oddball Magazine, and we really appreciate it. Artists everywhere appreciate it.
All right. Talk to you soon, Prof.
Thanks,
All right, guys. Peace.
It's all one thing. 478 because.
You want me to do this one? Because I don't feel like doing the fucking.
Yeah.
I don't feel like doing the Bruce Wise. Because and just because. No, because and just because. I do a Wizard of Oz reference, and you're just looking at me like a dog that's just finished on a card trick. Good
Well,
Lord.
I know that was because.
You're
because,
like, all right. I need your dog to just look up at the camera, going,
all right.
Same thing. Red card.
Because
right,
and just because it's all in me.
I'll get it.
Good. All right,
You're taking over. Because and just because it's all. Because and just because it's all in me. Me too. Too much to dam up forever now. I feel its roots, growing branches of tree, reaching out, arms embracing sky. Wow. Because we all want to feel life goes on. Even as obviously civilizations, much less empires like the one we all currently live in, always just end up as pathetic, bloody mess. Because people really need and must be free. You can't casually bow to knuckle under and remain touchy-feely and so close to be human, to live, to connect, and to ponder. The mystery of life, building blocks of stars, dust of this vast exploding cold icebox world, the glittering great bright way string of bars, marching across interstates and hurled by captured sunlight sequestered in deep earth, through this space now emptied for a new birth. This might be like the new equivalent of like a James Van Looy sonnet.
Yeah.
It kind of has a structure like it, but it's a little. Actually, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Scroll up.
Yep.
It's 16 lines. I don't know if there's a sonnet with 16 lines. There were always 14, but
they've come out
with the American sonnet. So literally anything is possible.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the idea that this is an invented sonnet.
So the next one is kind of serious.
You want to do it?
Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
So, last Wednesday, March 22nd, I lost my father-in-law, Rick Berube.
Oh, yes.
Rick Berube was my daughter's pictured in this picture. She was her papa. That's what we call him, Papa. And Rick was the nicest, gentlest, funniest, kindest guy. And he passed away very, very shockingly. It happened after a fall, and then 4 days later, he passed away in the hospital. And I wrote this in memory of him. And it's called Remembering Rick Berube. Remembering my father-in-law, Rick Berube. Rick Berube was not just my wife's dad. He was my friend. He loved to play music loud, really loud, and he loved to listen to rock, specifically hard rock, specifically AC/DC. I thought I knew what rock was, but then I met Rick Berube. Rick enjoyed cooking, not eating so much, but cooking. He loved barbecue. He enjoyed watching the faces of friends and family, devouring up his famous Dr. Pepper ribs, kicking back in the sun with his radio on loud, his black shades on, and drinking a cold Sam Adams. Rick was a big, adventurous man when I first met him, with a coarse, dark beard, stocky shoulders, and a smile on his face. As time progressed, he began to lose weight after multiple surgeries. One thing about Rick was that he was a retired truck driver, and the constant jolting and jigging of the semi-trucks messed with his back, his neck, and his legs. Because of this, he had numerous surgeries. He joked that he wanted to donate his body to science because of all the surgeries he had undergone. One thing for sure was that Rick was in constant pain, but he held a stiff upper lip, and up until the end, handled himself with dignity and a sense of humor. He never ever lost that beard though. It just went from dark black to wise gray. Same shaggy haircut, same beard, same rock and roll music, same endearing gritty Boston accent, though Rick was born in Fall River. Last year, Rick had open heart surgery and was in the hospital for 8 solid weeks. The nurse staff loved him. He was always kind to them. Dealt with the pain of catheters and stitches, pain that was off the scale. We welcomed him home, but Rick was considerably weaker. He now had trouble walking up and down stairs and many times relied on a grooved wooden cane. He was on a medicine for his heart that thinned his blood. I remember maybe 2 months ago he cut himself shaving. We had to dress the wound for over 2 hours, and Rick just sat there stoically while my wife poured some kind of powder substance on his face. Finally, the blood stopped. Rick was also a devoted husband and was married to his wife for over 44 years. Towards the end, his wife, my mother-in-law, developed early onset Alzheimer's and has not been the same since. Part of us mourns her like she is gone. The other part is hopeful things might change for the better. Rick was the biggest Boston Celtics fan. I remember the first time Lisa introduced me to him, and on the wood panel living room wall were framed live action shots of the 1986 Boston Celtics championship run. On Wednesday, March 22nd, Rick's heart stopped. We got the call that he had been watching the Celtics game. We heard the news just after midnight. About 4 days prior, he had fallen and was rushed to the hospital. Later that night, they discharged him. The next day, he was still in intense pain. He had broken his ribs and hurt his neck from the fall. He was rushed to a different hospital and had been in the ICU. The night he died, the nurse staff had been trying to revive him for over an hour before they called. We never expected this in a million years. Rick frequented the hospital. I didn't think that this was an all too serious fall. We had been so busy taking care of Lisa's mom that we didn't realize that we would never see Rick again. I never got to say goodbye. I did love him, and it shatters my heart to know I will never see him again. We were all deeply grieving, and today is his wake. I know that I must remain strong for my family, especially my wife Lisa. I do believe that I will see Rick again and can call on him at any time to talk with him, ask him advice, or just see how heaven is going. The sad thing is, though I will never see his glowing face, hear his gritty voice, or listen with him on Sundays, the roaring race of the NASCAR races, or just enjoy the loudness of his life. I'll say one more thing. Rick loved Lisa. I remember asking him for her hand in marriage. He was so excited. He told me to take care of his daughter and welcome me to the family. As I said, Rick wasn't just my father-in-law. He was a friend. We spent numerous days together, listening to music and basking in the sun. He was a good man. He also loved Emerson, my daughter, and though she might not remember him someday, he will show her the pictures of her loving papa. I think that's what kills me the most. The fact that not everyone got to witness the beauty of this man. This year, we're going to spread his ashes on the beautiful sands of Horseneck Beach, one of his favorite spots. He didn't ask for much. He just wanted to live life the way he wanted to. That was kicking back, having beers, listening to the waves, and playing his dad jams, and that's what he did. He was a beautiful, authentic man, inside and out. Lisa said he didn't just love me, he liked me. Love is easier sometimes than someone generally liking you as a person. Rick liked me. We laughed together. We shared beers together. When I stopped drinking, we still never missed a laugh or the Celtics game. I loved him. He never said one unkind word to me. I don't believe he is gone. I believe he's still with me. I know this because whenever you have a manic episode, you realize that this world is connected, including the thin line between life and death. God bless you, Rick Berube. And though this not so eloquent elegy does not give justice to the man, what it does, I hope, is give you a sense of how truly special he was to me and my family. As I write this, my daughter is in her play yard. My wife just came up to me sobbing. I just held her while she cried into my arms. She doesn't even know what I'm writing. All she knows is her dad is gone. But I know that when the sentence is over, so is his thought. But the memories remain. The summer spent, the Christmases and barbecues, the laughter and the music. God bless you, Rick Berube. I will see you again, as the cliche goes, but every time I hear the crashing notes of hell's bells, or rock and roll ain't noise pollution, or for those about to rock, I will forever salute you. Amen, brother, till we see each other again. And that's why I hate March. That's why I hate March. Because in March, just last week, I lost my father-in-law.
My condolences, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
I said that to you live, but
well, I think it's just important to know that this life is so fleeting, and you're gone one day, you're gone. But it's about the memories, and it's about enjoying people while they're here, and respecting the time and the love and the commitment that people put into friendship. That's why I appreciate you, Chad, and I appreciate Prof, and I appreciate
props to Prof.
Props to Prof. And then props to Chad. So Bamboozled no more. Let's move on. It's not about wanting something, because wanting is seen as weakness. It's about the act of taking something away from another that's important. It's the act of exerting power that's valued, such as war. Anybody can want, but it is the ability to leave a place desecrated. It's people broken that is valued. This is how wars begin and end. The desire to take away the heart and soul of a nation is more valued than the land itself. The land is only where the bodies are buried. Janet Cormier really just breaking it down with this one.
She's been hitting the strides.
She really has. What do you think about this one?
I enjoyed this one. This is one of my favorites from the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know what she's going to do. She might be doing prepping something for Trump and Stormy. She's been sharing a lot of links with me from Fallon Yahoo Mail of just like various think pieces and providing her own thoughts. So that might be coming, might not be. We'll see what happens. I would like something to go up that's poignant, and I wouldn't have to do Donald Trump Jesus Part 9 or whatever the hell we're at.
I know. I feel like, are you going to do a Donald Trump Jesus poem on this one? You got to do something.
I'm leaning towards no, but if everyone is still coming up dry, then I'll see what happens. But I'm going to do a call on Friends of Oddball and see what we can do.
And now we finally come to Bruce Wise, the swan song of the week that was, the best way to end the podcast. So I am looking at the Wallace Stevens poem, because I like this one. 13 Ways of Looking at Wallace Stevens. Isn't Wallace Stevens the person who wrote the Red Wheel? No, that's William Carlos Williams. Wallace Stevens. He's dead. He eschewed rhyme. He was vice president once of the Hartford Accident and Indemnity Company. His wife's profile was used for the Mercury dime design. None of his family came to his wedding, and that caused a breach. He, born in Reading, ended up in writing Posey. The year he died, he won the Pulitzer. He liked Key West with Robert Frost, he argued, but hated Ernest Hemingway, who then knocked Wallace Stevens to the street repeatedly. He was inspired by inventiveness, Klee, and Cézanne. He was of 3 minds, like a tree with 3 blackbirds in it. He loved each line. He blessed the day he ran, no sprint, 1-1. 13 ways of looking at Wallace Stevens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Bruce Wise is a genius. He's just simply a genius.
Wallace Stevens did 13 Ways of Looking at a Blackbird, and he also wrote The Emperor of Ice Cream.
And there you go.
It's so funny. It's so funny. You were like searching for words. I didn't know you skipped to reading. So you're like, what can I say about Wallace Stevens? He's dead. Like I was. There's a famous interview with the Ramones where they couldn't stand the Sex Pistols because they kind of screwed their chances in Britain. So I go, what do you think of Sid Vicious? Joey just yells out, "He's dead." I thought you pulled the Sid Vicious on Wallace Stevens.
No, I didn't.
Mean.
No, I think the one that was commented on was actually from next week. So we'll talk about that next week. but
Excellent.
we have the last. No, that's it. We're caught up.
Yeah, we are caught up.
We're caught up.
We kick off National Poetry Month with the first week of April with Luis Tazara.
So, how did you enjoy having Prof on the show?
It was good fun. Hope he comes back.
I hope he comes back too. That was really great.
I'm gonna definitely check out his Shaggy Fingers.
No, it's called Shaggy Palms, and seriously,
Shaggy Palms.
It is excellent. He is. This guy is talented. Talented. Check out Shaggy Palms. There's a link at the bottom. There's a QR code. You can check out his stuff. And also, we're gonna play out Dorchester at the end of this.
All right. Well, then I'll shut up and I'll crawl up with my shawl as I keep on waiting for the heat to kick in and get up past 62.
Yeah, no, you seem very matchmaker over here.
I was very cold coming home because I didn't eat and I'm just like fatigued. So I'm just like, can there be one fucking night where it's above 42 degrees, please? Above 38, just something. Oh, this winter's been cruel.
Yeah, no, it's been a tough one anyway. So this has been the week that was
the shadow. 6 more weeks of Trump indictment trials.
That's some really interesting stuff going on right now, and exciting, and let's see if
I hope we write something that is worthy of it.
So let's do a call for submissions for what's going on right now.
Send everything that you can think of, including the recent shooting. No, not that one. No, not that one. That one.
Yeah.
And Trump and whatever you'd like. Gallows humor is all you have when you're in the gallows. But submit as much as you can. Whatever
weather that's happening right now, just you don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows. And this has been the week that was. My name is Jason Wright. This is Chad Parento. Thank you, Chris Everson, Prof of Shaggy Palms. Thank you, everyone who's been on the show. We'll talk again soon. And read a book. We'll be back.
To say, yo, Zoinks, play us out, Shaggy.
Zoinks, play us out, Shaggy. Anyway, this has been the week that was. I appreciate Prof being on the show. Again, it was good to see him. Chad, as always, thank you for being on the week that was. And my name is Jason Wright. There's a lot going on with Oddball Show and a lot going on with the Oddball Foundation. So let me put the president's hat on Oddball Foundation. Oddball Foundation is a 501c3 mental health advocacy network. We have a lot of things planned in the future with more 12-ish minute podcasts, mental health in minutes, if you want to call it that. Some really great advocates coming on the show to talk about things. We have some great interviews lined up. Some events coming up planned in the near future, and stay tuned. So if you want to get involved with the Oddball Foundation, check out the link below. Learn more about Oddball Foundation. My name is Jason Wright. This is Jason Wright, the podcaster. I will talk to you soon, and read a book. Mojo in the dojo is Quasimodo for Shoto. Geishas make their way through the doorway in nice kimonos. Blessings like the rainfall that grow up the crops of cocoa. Machetes nice and stainless that slice it and chop it up.
Machete's nice and stainless, now slice it, then chop it up. So Ginsu with the pen, do the paper when writing up quotes. Looking for my caliber, fountain pen close to calico. Galileo searching far and wide for the flow. This shit is dope, I get him high and I ain't selling no coke.
I'm from Dorchester, from Boston now. Just say it with your chest, my hip hop a shit talking. Dorchester, boom shakalaka. Just say it with your chest, yo, got my shit proper. Dorchester, from Boston now. Just say it with your chest, my hip hop a shit talking. Dorchester, boom shakalaka. Just say it with your chest, yo, got my shit proper.
Yeah, I hit it out the park, Red Sox, what's up? And you know we bleeding green cause them C's stay tough. I'm on that Morton till it's gallivanting 93 what? This shit is begging for some kickers, what you got in the trunk? This shit is jumping like it's Blue Hill, laugh down the Warren. Rhythm minute, make him listen and that's just what we want. I'm raising pressure up daily, I don't fuck with you jokes. And I did this for my haters and they know who we from.
From Dorchester.